I'm a physical therapist and an advocate of physical therapy exercise for the treatment of dizziness. However, if you're suffering cervicogenic dizziness, there are a ton of exercises out there that are not only ineffective, but could make your symptoms way worse. We're going to get into the video and take a look at some of these exact exercises. Well, welcome back to another episode of Physio Tips with Mauro. I'm your host, Mauro Burnett. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a board-certified orthopedic specialist in physical therapy and the owner of Australian Physiotherapy Specialist, located in Jacksonville, Florida. For today's video, we're going to talk about cervicogenic dizziness and how particular exercises for dizziness, like traditional vestibular exercises, could make cervicogenic dizziness a lot worse. Before we get into some of the exercises to watch out for, let's take a minute and define cervicogenic dizziness. Cervicogenic dizziness is a dizziness that occurs when there's pain or tightness or dysfunction of the upper neck. You have 7 neck vertebrae, but C1, C2, and C3 are the area that's very sensitive once it's sore and it can trigger dizziness. Common symptoms if you have pain at the base of the head could be headache, dizziness, nausea, vertigo, TMJ tightness. So if you have dizziness and you also have some of these other symptoms, then you very well could be suffering cervicogenic dizziness. Overwhelmingly, of all the problems that's going on with your neck that could lead to cervicogenic dizziness, one of the biggest things are a loss of strength. The deep stabilizing muscles of the neck will tend to get weaker when your neck's been sore for a while, or if you suffer frequent headaches. Every time you're having a headache, the pain that you're suffering is inhibiting these deep stabilizing muscles. This could lead to cervical instability. By this, I mean that the vertebra could start to shift around a little more than they should. Your body sees this as a threat, and so it begins to overly tighten your muscles. If it's tight at the base of the head, one of the symptoms could be dizziness and disequilibrium. This type of dizziness is usually not a severe spinning like we might see in traditional vertigo for 30 seconds and then it abates. You might feel dizzy all day long, days, weeks, months. You constantly feel off. This is characteristic of cervicogenic dizziness. Well, now that we mentioned instability of the neck causing cervicogenic dizziness, this is important when we show you some of these exercises because in order to do some of these traditional vestibular exercises, it requires that you already have really good neuromuscular control and stability of your neck. So let's get into some of these exercises. Our first group of exercises are going to be seated eye-head coordinated exercises, particularly with a central gaze. Kind of goes like this. You're looking at a central object, and then you might go pretty quickly right to left while keeping your eyes on this particular object. Another version of this might be keeping your eyes on the target, and you go up and down. And then a third version looks like this. You go out to the side, you keep your eyes on the target, and you go up and down as well. And then we come back and we do that again. So this is a typical exercise that you might receive if you've gone to a specific vestibular clinic or the physical therapist or physiotherapist that's treating you specializes in dizziness. However, if this therapist or doctor did not vet out that you have a history of neck problems, if you have a history of whiplash, concussion, or any of these type of injuries, this could be a very classic sign that you may be suffering an instability in your neck. If you have an instability in your neck and you're quickly moving your head side to side or up and down, this could very easily overwhelm your neck and make your symptoms a lot worse. Moreover, a lot of times in these clinics, they'll say things like, hey, you know what? It's probably going to make you worse at first. Just keep doing it. Or one patient told me a story where they said, hey, I think I'm going to throw up. And their therapist said, it's okay, just take this waste can and throw up, and then keep doing the exercise. This particular patient that I saw continued to do this for 6 or 8 weeks, spent a few $1,000s on this treatment. At the end of the treatment, she was just as dizzy as she was before starting, but now a couple $1,000s less money in her pocket. And I saw a patient just last week. The patient gave me her history. She said, okay, I've had 3 sports concussions from teenage into college years. And then recently, I've had a terrible motor vehicle accident where my head went through the windshield. After this, it's really stirred up my dizziness, and I'm very dizzy every time I look to the left or if I look up. Upon examination, it was very clear that this particular patient had very poor coordination and strength and stability of their upper neck. I inquired if she had seen other therapists for dizziness treatment, and she said yes. However, she reported that the exercises that she was prescribed for her therapy did not help her situation and actually made her symptoms worse. She reported performing many of the same exercises that we talked about earlier in the video. Let's get into another grouping of exercises that are commonly prescribed for dizziness. Another group of exercises that could be prescribed if you're having dizziness at a vestibular rehab center might be very similar to what we looked at before, right to left, looking at a central object, or maybe up and down. But this time it could be progressed by doing a sit to stand transfer, moving from sitting to standing while you're simultaneously doing these particular exercises. The idea is we're making it more difficult during functional activities like getting up and going to get a glass of water. However, same problem that we mentioned before, if you have very poor neck stability, by doing this, it could make you lose your balance. And I've even had patients say when they've tried to do some of these exercises in standing or in particular while walking, it's actually made them fall at home when they were trying these exercises. So standing, walking while you're doing these side to side, up and down, and transferring from sit to stand, very common progressions for this type of vestibular therapy. But if you're having cervicogenic dizziness, they can very easily make you worse. Well, thanks for watching today's video on cervicogenic dizziness exercises to avoid. Hope you got something out of it. Remember, you could always share this video with a friend or loved one that you think might be suffering some of these symptoms. And don't forget to like and comment. We'd love to hear your experiences. If you've had a bad go at physical therapy that made you worse, we'd love to hear about it. Or remember, you can always subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this in the future. It's goodbye for now, and we'll see you next time on Physio Tips with Mara.